Yeah, so good morning all. We are back with our classes, but there is a small notification which you have to get on Saturday. Saturday only, no, 15th August, I think. Just check, yeah. On Saturday, 15th of August, we will have a half-yearly paper. This paper will be sent at around 1:45. Group May, I will put the code also, and it has to be written from 2 to 5 in one sitting. You cannot get up and you cannot move across. Okay, it has to be written in one sitting, just like an exam for 3 hours. Okay, now chapters: physics, light, and electricity, bio, life process, and environment, chemistry, chapter 1, that is chemical reactions and equations, chemical reactions and equations. Second will be acid, bases and salt. And third will be metals and non-metals. Although I have taught periodic table, I am still not keeping periodic table. Okay, so this is all our classes, all our chapters. So totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chapters you have to study. And in this time, I would not prefer to send an answer key. I would like to see your papers given to me. Sunday morning, please deliver your papers at home. A basket will be kept in front of my gate. You don't have to enter. You can just keep on pumping your papers there. It will be given back to you as soon as I finish correcting everything. Okay? People who have an issue, people who cannot write, kindly message separately. But I would prefer everyone to write. I may take class on Monday and Tuesday. After Tuesday till Saturday, you will have enough time to go through, read, have doubt sessions if you want. You can come and ask me here. You can ask me orally. But please don't send, your doubts in a personal chat, because sometimes the doubts are not clear, complete informations are not given. So please make sure to write everything and then call and ask. Okay? So this is what is our plan. 15th of August we will finish our half-yearly portion. If you wouldn't have done well, then again we will go chapter by chapter. Revision as such in science may not be required, because all our lessons are there in YouTube. You can keep on seeing them and revising. Okay? So now back to our classes, which we were doing metals and non-metals. I think we are done with electricity. Only examination orientation or previous year papers from the exams are left, which I will start doing later. So first we will start with what? Metals and non-metals. I think the last part of metals and non-metals was left. Kindly open your textbook. And I am not going to put the message in the group that you have a test on Saturday. It is essential to see whether you have seen the class or not. Okay, so now for I think I have to solve in-text questions of page number 46, isn't it? From there only I have to start. So we will leave that part as it is. We will then go to how do metals and non-metals react. This is a very essential part and very, very important part. If you don't understand, you have to keep asking me. So the question is, how do metals and non-metals react? How do metals and non-metals react with each other? Okay, for metals and non-metals to react with each other, the problem basically is each other. So the logic here is metals are electropositive. What does the substance or what does the term mean? Metals are electropositive. Electropositive means they lose electrons. And non-metals are electronegative. That means they gain electron. Metals they lose electron. Non-metals gain electron. So whatever metals lose electron, where does the electron go? It goes to non-metals. So what is happening? There is what of electron? Transfer of electrons. There is transfer of electrons. And due to transfer of electrons, what bond is formed? Ionic bond is formed. What bond is formed? Ionic bond is formed. What is ionic bond also called as? It is called as electrovalent bond. It is called as what bond? It is called as electrovalent bond. So, how do metals and non-metals react with each other? Metals give electrons and non-metals take electrons. So, there is transfer of electrons. And due to transfer of electrons, which bond is formed? Ionic bond is formed. Ionic bond is also called as what bond? Electrovalent bond. So what are ionic bonds? The bond formed by transfer of electrons are called as ionic bond. How does it transfer? Metals lose electrons and non-metals gain electrons. So please write in your notebook, write along with me. Ionic bond, first heading, ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Ionic bond, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬೇಕು page ಹೊಸ page ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Okay, so the first thing is what? Ionic bond. The bond formed by transfer of electrons is called ionic bond. The bond formed by transfer of electrons is called ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Okay, now write properties of ionic bond. The bond formed by transfer of electrons is called ionic or electrovalent bond. Next heading bariri, properties of ionic compounds. What are ionic compounds? Compounds which have what bonds? Ionic bonds are called as what compounds? Ionic compounds. Okay, so now write properties of ionic compounds. First property bariri, solubility. First property bariri, solubility. Solubility means they should be soluble in something. Okay, so what is the first logic? We have to write and study about solubility. Solubility andre, okay, before we understand, let us understand one ionic compound. Okay, so the best example of ionic bond is NaCl. What is NaCl? Sodium chloride. It is also called as what? Common salt, the salt we eat. So now sodium's electronic configuration. Sodium's electronic configuration is what? 281. From where did I get? From its atomic number. Last year we have studied. Cl has a configuration 17. So it is 287. Okay. You know that always outermost shell should have how many electrons? 8. That is why we say no, it should be octet. So it should be 8. This has got what? 1 more than 8. This has got what? 1 less than 8. So what it does? It gives 1 electron here. Okay. The moment it loses 1 electron, it becomes what? Na plus. Because it has lost 1 electron, how it becomes plus C? There were 11 electrons. There were 11 protons. Correct? You know total number of electrons is always equal to total number of protons. Now it loses 1 electron. So electron becomes what? 10. But protons are how many? 11. So it also becomes 10 and 1 extra proton comes like this. Understood? Na plus. Now this already had 17 electrons and 17 protons. And 1 extra electron it got. So it will be written as what? Cl minus. Fine. These two ions are held to each other by strong electrostatic forces of attraction. Attraction force na in Thursday. It should be more than 4 bonds. Okay. So you will always find that these are what? Cation and anion are held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction. Clear? So this is how an ionic bond is formed. Clear? Sodium is a metal because it loses electron. Chlorine is a non-metal because it gains electron. Clear? Sodium ion and chloride ions are held by strong electrostatic force of attraction. So now talking about solubility. We all know salt is soluble in water, isn't it? So why is it soluble in water? Because water can easily break these electrostatic force of attraction. But if you put salt in kerosene, in petrol, in alcohol, it is not soluble because that compound does not ionize. Water ionizes and hence it is soluble. So please write. Ionic compounds are generally soluble in water. Ionic compounds are generally soluble in water but are insoluble in solvents like alcohol, petrol, kerosene, benzene, but are insoluble in solvents like alcohol, petrol, kerosene, benzene, okay, why are they insoluble? As they do not ionize, bracketed by this, as they do not ionize. Over next by physical nature. Next property, physical nature. Okay, now what does physical nature mean? Whether they are solid, liquid or gas. Now you tell me, they have very strong electrostatic force of attraction. So their intermolecular distance between the two ions will be large or will be less? It will be less. When the intermolecular distance is less, they are generally what? Solids or liquids? Solids. So please write. Ionic compounds are solid and are hard. Ionic compounds are solid and are hard because of strong intermolecular force of attraction. Because of strong intermolecular force of attraction. Because of strong intermolecular force of attraction between what? Between positive and negative ions. Between positive and negative ions. Okay? Now, if I say hard, there are two types of hard substances. One which are brittle and one which are non-brittle. Brittle andre enu? If I take unde, any kind of laddu, okay, hit in unde and all, it is hard. But the moment I apply pressure, it pudi pudi agogutte. So it is brittle. Understood? But then there is substances like bread and all. Dried bread is also brittle, but the bread what we eat in that state, it is not very hard, it is soft. So there are a lot of solids like this. It is not brittle, it's a solid, but it is not brittle. How much pressure I apply, it will not break. Even if it breaks, it will not powder itself. Understood? So please write third point. Ionic compounds are brittle. Haven't you seen salt? Salt crystals will immediately break into powder. That rock salt which we generally get for house. Okay, so please write, they are generally brittle and break into pieces. They are generally brittle and break into pieces when pressure is applied. They are generally brittle and break into pieces when pressure is applied. So three properties clear. First property, they are soluble in water but are not soluble in solvents like alcohol, kerosene, benzene, which do not ionize. They are hard because there is strong force of attraction between Na plus and Cl minus, between positive and negative ions. They are brittle and hence they really break down or break into powder when pressure is applied. Now please write next heading, melting and boiling point. Melting and boiling point. Okay, now let us understand it with a very stupid example so that you can immediately get to know it. You have made a new friend in, let us suppose, in 8th standard, who is not a good soul. Good soul in a sense, he doesn't read, he doesn't obey, he keeps roaming around in the bike, he is not into studying, he is a very weird kind of a person whom your mother dislikes. Okay, but everybody's life there will be friends whom mothers will dislike, some friends, and there will be some people whom you don't like but still your mother likes, so you keep talking to them. Everybody's life it will be there. Okay, so and there will be some amount of comparison and all. Let us suppose this is the most weirdest person of the class and you are very close to that person and your academic performance and your personal behavior is getting bad. Fine, but you have shared a lot of things with this kid and you are very close to that person. Now, where you are very close means you have strong electrostatic force of attraction with that kid. I am not talking about love at all. It may be between a boy and boy, a girl and boy, a girl and boy and girl, and girl and girl, whatever person you want. I am not talking about gender issues. Okay. Now, if your mother tells you to break the friendship with him, not to see his messages, when he comes near his house, not to go out, is it easy for your mother to break that bond? Or is it difficult? There will be some fight happened at home. You will be hit once or twice. It takes a lot of effort from your mother to stop you from getting out of that company. Yes or no? If it is a normal person, like the most intelligent person of the class, and she says don't talk, so you'll immediately leave because you also don't want. He's a very boring person, he doesn't know anything, he only talks about studies, you'll say okay, go. But if there's a person who is telling you about movies, telling you about things which your parents can't tell you, so that person is very interesting. And particularly in 7th and 8th, such persons are many in class who gives you that extra knowledge of life which is not required at that particular period of time. So always in 9th and 10th you will suddenly find that your company will shift slowly, and when you come to college it completely shifts. 11th and 12th you are really generally most of the time in a very weird company. Then after 12th, when you get into your professional colleges, you are again very normal and very okay and you know the value system. But from 8th to 12th, you don't believe in any value system other than what you think most of the time. So coming back, if you are not like that, very good. If you are listening, very good. But then always understand, if there is a very strong force of attraction, then lot of energy is required to break this attraction. Energy comes in the form of heat. So how will be the melting point? Low or high? Right. Ionic compounds have high melting and boiling point. Ionic compounds have high melting and boiling point. This is because a considerable amount of energy is required to break the strong interionic attraction. Clear? So the first point, solubility. They are soluble in solvents like water, but are not soluble in solvents which do not ionize. Physical nature, they are generally hard because of strong electrostatic force of attraction. They are brittle and they break into powder when pressure is applied. They have high melting and boiling point because a lot of energy is required to break the strong electrostatic force of attraction. Now please write conduction of electricity. Please write. Very important. Write. Put a star and write. Questions are asked on this part of the property. So please write. Ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in solid state. Do not conduct electricity in solid state. Okay. Why do you think they do? They have ions. But why do you think they do not conduct electricity in solid state? See, generally a crystal of NaCl is something like this. It will be looking like a cube and every place will be surrounded by. So you tell me, is there any space in the solid for movement of ion? No. The solid is what packed? Closely packed. So there is no movement of ions possible. So please write, ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in solid state because movement of ions in solid state is not possible. Movement of ions in solid state is not possible due to rigid structure. Movement of ions in solid state is not possible due to rigid structure. Clear? Now write next point. Ionic compound conduct electricity in molten and liquid state. In molten and liquid state. Ionic compound conduct electricity in molten and liquid state because in molten state the electrostatic force of attraction between the oppositely charged ions between the oppositely charged ions are overcome due to heat. Between the oppositely charged ions are overcome due to heat. And the ions move freely and conduct electricity. And the ions move freely and conduct electricity. So property is clear. Properties of ionic. Okay. How is this part of the question asked? Please write for that particular point. Please write the question. Why does solid NaCl not conduct electricity but molten NaCl does? Write the question for that point. Why does solid NaCl not conduct electricity? Why does solid NaCl not conduct electricity but molten NaCl does? Molten NaCl does. Answer clear. Solid NaCl does not conduct electricity due to what structure? Due to rigid structure. Molten NaCl conducts electricity because the electrostatic force of attraction is overcome because of heat, and hence it can easily have Na plus ion and Cl minus ions which can conduct electricity. When you dissolve it in water, also in liquid state, it conducts electricity because it has free Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. So this is all about ionic compound and properties of ionic compound. Tomorrow we will do, before I finish, let me just write. Please write which are metals and their electronic configuration, non-metals and their electronic configuration. Okay, so Bareilly heading. Metals, heading Bareilly. Metals, atomic number and configuration. Metals, atomic number and their configuration. First, sodium. You can write sodium, I am writing symbol Na. Atomic number in 11, 2, 8, 1. Okay. Then magnesium 12, 2, 8, 2. Next, aluminium 13, 2, 8, 3. Potassium 19, 2, 8, 8, 1. Calcium 20, 2, 8, 8, 2. This should be by heart. This you have studied even in 9th, I think, isn't it? So sodium is 281, magnesium 282, aluminium 283, potassium 2881 and calcium is 2882. Where is CNO? 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2. Outermost electron is its valency. Barkonpadi, one more column. Valency. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, metals always form what ions? Cations. Why? As they lose electron. Metals always form cations as they lose electrons. Okay, now we will talk about non-metals. Same logic, please write non-metal, atomic number, configuration and valency. Okay, so let us write first nitrogen, atomic numberation nitrogen 7. Okay, configuration 2, 5. Oxygen 8, 2, 7. Okay, then you have phosphorus 15, 2, 8, 5. Sulfur 16, 2, 8, 6. Okay, then chlorine 17, 2, 8, 7. This all is known. Valency. Let us talk about valency of non-metals. It is always calculated as 8 minus whatever is the number, valence electron. 8 minus valence electron. So 8 minus 5. So valency is 3. 8 minus 6. Valency is 2. 8 minus 7. 1. Again 3. Again 2. Again 1. Okay. Last part, non-metals always forms what? Anions. As they gain electrons. Correct? So understood configuration of metals and non-metals. Now please write noble gases. Noble gases, when they lose and gain electron, their configuration has to become equal to the configuration of what? Noble gas. Because noble gas or inert gases are most stable. So, helium, neon, argon. Okay, so helium, neon and argon. Atomic number is 2, 10 and 18. Configuration 2, configuration 2,8 and 2,8,8. See, its outermost shell should contain how much? 8 electrons. Because it has only one single shell, it can only have how many? 2 electrons. So helium is an exception. Helium is a noble gas, but it does not contain 8 electrons because it has only what shell? One shell, and in one shell you can have only how many electron maximum? 2. So it has 2. What is the valency of all of them? 0, because they are stable. They do not really lose electrons or gain electrons because they are stable. They neither form cation nor anion. Okay. So now yavagadu electron lose madidre metal, it has to reach this configuration. Metals always lose electron to become stable like noble gases. Non-metals gain electron to become stable like noble gases. So when you lose and when you gain electron, they should attain any of these configuration. So tomorrow, please read and go through this configuration and come. One more thing, if they ask you, represent chlorine atom. Gotta madadu, last year circle hodidilla. Gotta idu madadu 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gottalla 2, 8, 7 madadu. Yes or no? Yes. So iga nanu barsidini 2, 8, 7. Andre you will know first shell will contain 2, second shell will contain 8, third shell will contain 7 electrons. This much is clear. So tomorrow we will do about 10-12 compounds only of ionic bonds. Okay. Now one more thing. Please come to the exercise part. Please come to the exercise part. Okay, so cut out the 8th question. 8th question is not there for your syllabus. Okay, then 10th is not there. 14th is not there. Other than that, I think all questions of this chapter, I think fifth is also not there, sorry. No, fifth is there, sorry, fifth is there. Okay, other than those questions which are based on what? Metallurgy part, rest all remains in the textbook. Okay, so tomorrow we will do questions based on, first we will finish off ionic bond, and then tomorrow please try to solve this and come. Why is sodium kept immersed in kerosene oil? I think it is already taught or not? Right, reactions of iron. Idana onsali barkond panni so that we can discuss tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we will try to finish off the chapter, and one Wednesday class we will have the exercise questions. So this will be done. Okay. Then we will go very slow because we don't have many chapters left. Thank you.